Yeah, 1 minute I'm doing, please. Okay, that's good. So now it's live. Participant. Okay, Omar, you are host. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So I'm just sharing my screen. So please wait. So please tell me, are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Yes, brother.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, brother.
Okay. So start with the CSS outline. An outline is a line that is drawn around the elements outside the borders to make the element stand out. So CSS has the following outline properties: outline style, outline color, outline width, outline offset, and outline as a shorthand property. So we will just review. So you can see the middle section is for content, and above the content, this is occupied by the border, and above the border, uh, here is the outline. So this is a sample of this style. So the outline is similar to the border, as we discussed border in the previous lecture. So the border uh, outline style property specifies the style of the outline and can have one of the following properties: dotted, dash, solid, double, groove, right, inset, outside, none, hidden. So as you can see, the border is just an example of a border, sorry, outline style, like dotted, dash, solid. So we may define outline style like in this way. And as you can see, this is also another example, and this is a shortened way to write the outline instead of defining the border style and border color and the border pixel in the separate attribute. So instead of this, so this is the shortest way. Okay, so before going to the next slide, so we will just review in the example over here. So okay, so now change apply the border outline over here. So for example, if I want to apply this like outline, and we must define the color like red, and then define its uh, style like solid. We may also define dash, dotted, and all, and then define its thickness like 10 pixel, 5 pixel, 4, whatever it's required for us. So this is the short example of outline style. And if I apply the border, so you may also see the difference of outline and border is we have to define the color in the outline in the start, and when we are defining the color in the border, so we will type the color in the last argument. So we must define the so we'll start with the measurement first, then we type the its and then define its color like red. We also define blue. So here you can see the border is inside the outline, and outline is uh, outside the border. And you can see the middle one is the section. So you can see the difference between the border and the outline. So we can also define the border style in this way as well. So this is the short example, and also we can define the outline in the separate way, like outline color, outline style, outline width. So these all are the options we can use, but this is the best practice while we are in our development any project. So start. So go to the next slide. CSS text. So CSS text, text color and text alignment. So we may see CSS text decoration, text transformation, and text spacing. So these all are under the CSS text. So we will discuss step by step. So text color and background color. The color property is used to set the color of the text. The color is specified by a color name like red, hex value, like the hashtag and the color value. So I think we have already discussed how to define a color, how to change the color of a text, or and also we can add the color value in the RGB format. So this is example of RGB format. So we have an option to use either with the color name, either with the hexa code, and either with the RGB value. So here's the example to change the background color and color. So I think we have already covered this. So just go back to the next slide. CSS text alignment. So we have already I think discussed the text align property. So just a short review. Text align property is used to set the horizontal align of a text. A text can be left or right aligned, centered, and or justified. So justified is a new value for you because we are not discussed justified. So we will discuss. So the following example shows center align, left, right, align text. So we will just when the text line property is set to justify, each line is stretched so that every line has equal width and the left and right margin are straight like a magazine and newspaper. So we will discuss. So we will see in the example how to do it. So just I need to copy the content. So where should I get the content? From which site I can get the dummy content? Can anyone please tell me? Can you guys tell me?
Epson.
What?
Epson.
Lorem ipsum. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Great. So this is the site where we can get the dummy content from this site. And even no one can claim on this, because if we are copying the content from any other site, so if our site is live and a person have right to uh, have a right to case file against against for copyright issue. So this is the best practice to use the dummy content instead of copying from another site. Okay, so this is the content, and now we will use the text align property. So I'm just applying the text align like left. By default, it's left, so it's not in. So its alignment is same, and when I type it right, so you can see the alignment of this text is right now, and when I set it to center, then you can see the alignment of this text is center, and when I set its justify, so you can see all of the start and the so it will just stretch the content for the outline of this element. And if I remove this, so you may see the difference. The content is not justified. So whenever I just set the property text align justified, so it will stretch the content to its border. So you can see the difference between the text align right, left, and center and justify. So come to the next slide. Text decoration. So we have already discussed text decoration. We have only discussed the underline property. So the text decoration, what is the use of text decoration property is used to set or remove decoration from text. The value text decoration and is often used to remove the underline from the links. For example, by default, the anchor tags has the text decoration underline property. So if you want to remove this property, so we can remove this property by defining a text decoration none. For example, uh, I don't want underline on this text. So what should I type? So I will have to type text decoration none. So you can see now no line over here. And if I want to add underline on this all of this content, so what should I type over here? Can anyone tell me? If I want to add the underline of this text, so what should I add the property? Can you guys tell me? I think I think we have discussed this.
It's align in the line.
Did you say text align?
And the
Text
line.
align. Text.
Text align in the line.
Text underline.
Text align and the line.
Text align. Okay. Text align underline. No, it's not working. It says invalid property value. So can anyone tell me? No.
We can say like text decoration and we say underline.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Text decoration. Yes, you are the right. So here is it. You can see the text is underlined now. Okay, so we also discuss text overline property. So what is, if you want to add a line on the above the text, so instead of typing the underline, so we will have to type overline. So you can see the line text is align. The text decoration is applied overline because we are defined overline. Okay, so okay, text decoration line through. So what is the use of line through? So we may just a short review. Line through. So you can see, I think we have discussed line through property. So you can see the use of line through. Okay, so we have already discussed underline, line through, overline, and okay. So now go to the next slide. CSS text transformation. The text transformation property is used to specify uppercase and lowercase letters in the text. It can be used to turn everything into uppercase or lowercase letters, or capitalize the first letter of each word. We just see the text transformation property. So here is three properties: uppercase, lowercase, and capitalize. So just check the difference of what is the use of text transformation and how we can use. Just type text transformation. Okay, so first we will see capitalize. So if I set its capitalize, so you can see each word of the text, the first word of each text is capitalized. And if I remove it, so you can see the text is normal now. And if I check it, so you can see the first word of the first character is capitalized. And if I change it to uppercase, so you can see all characters are transform uppercase. And if for example I use the lowercase, so you can see the first letter initially the first letter is capital, and this letter is capital because I type it's capital. And if I want to all the letters in a lowercase, so I just type the property text transform lowercase. So you can see the difference. All characters are in lowercase, but by default it's type in a capital case. Some of letters like this lorem ipsum L and this ipsum I is capital. But when I set this lowercase property, so it will change it to lowercase. Okay. So CSS text spacing. The letter spacing property is used to specify the space between the characters in a text. The following example demonstrate how to increase and decrease the space between characters. So if you want to add some space between the characters, so we will need to add the property letter space. Letter space like 2 pixel. So you can see uh, the space between the characters. So similarly, if I want to increase or decrease, so we have option to use this property, like you can see. Okay, so CSS font. Font selection is important. Choosing a right font has a huge impact on how the reader experiences a website. The right font can create a strong identity for your brand. Using a font that is easy to read is important. The font adds value to your text. It's important to choose the correct color and text size for the font. So you can see the importance of the font selection. Generic font families. In CSS, there are 5 generic font families. Serif. Serif font have a small stroke at the edges of each letter. They create a sense of formality and elegance. Sans serif. Sans serif fonts have clean line, no small stroke attached. They create a modern and minimalistic look. Monospace font. Here all the letters have the same fixed width. They create a mechanical look. Curve font imitate human handwriting. Fantasy font are decorative, playful fonts. All different fonts names belong one of the generic font families. Difference between serif and sans serif font. As you can see, this is the sans serif font and this is the serif font. So the difference between the serif and sans serif, you can see before if you just hide these red bar, so you can see, so it will be look like sans serif, but if we add the red area, so it will consider as serif. So in this serif we have edges, and in the sans serif we don't have any edges. On computer screens, sans serif fonts are considered easier to read than serif font. So normally we use sans serif fonts but we have an option to use serif as well. The CSS font family property. In CSS, we use the font family property to specify the font of the text. The font family property should hold several font names as a fallback system to ensure maximum capability between browser operating system. Start with the font you want and end with generic family to let the browser pick a similar font in the generic family. If no other font are available, the font names should be separated with comma. If the font name is more important than one word, it must be in quotation mark, like Times New Roman. So we should define font in this way, double quotation, like font name Times New Roman. So this is the example of. So we will also implement it. So this is the example font family. So these all are the different font family, like uh, Times New Roman, serif times, Arial, Helvetica, uh, Lucida, console, Courier New, monospace. So these all are three different type of font family. So we'll implement it. So so I just copy it. Okay, so I'm just applying it over here. And remove this special characters. We just remove it from here. So we apply it like just apply this font style in on H1, and this font family I apply the p tag, and this font family I applied just the anchor tag. So I just save it and then go back to the browser, then refresh the page, and then you see. I think so. Just let me check the file. The file is saved, and just want to see. Okay, it's also edit on this. So just check that why it's not loading. As you can see, if I I don't know why the file is not loading. So I will also check. So So no what. Okay,
I
so
think,
this is the as you can see when I just what you were saying.
sorry, I think it's just the file name that is used in the syntax. It might be missing the S.
In the syntax. Okay,
Yes.
so this is the current file. No, file is loading as you can see over
Isn't
here.
it?
If I go to the source code, control U, and then open this file, so you can see the property is aligned. The property is assigned,
Mhm.
like in the H1 I assign the font family, and the P I assign the Arial, and similarly.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I just see on the anchor tag, so maybe I just if I remove this over here and then open again. Okay, we will just see that why the style is not showing in the okay. So if I just use this, so you can see the header style is changed to the Lucida console font family, and if I want to add the Arial font, so you can see this is changed to Arial, and if I remove the Arial, so you can see it will load the Helvetica font. So what is the use of comma? Comma indicates that first load this font Arial, and if this font is not compatible uh, with the browser, so it will find the Helvetica, and if Helvetica is also not compatible with the browser, so it will load the simple sans serif. So this is the best practice to use the font in this way. Okay, so go to the next slide. This is the web safe fonts. So web safe fonts are fonts that are universally installed across all browsers and devices. Fallback fonts, however, there are no 100% completely web safe fonts. There is always a chance that a font is not found or is not installed properly. Therefore, it is very important to always use fallback fonts. This means that you should add a list of similar backup fonts in the font family property. If the first fold does not work, the browser will try the next one and the next one and so on. Always end with the last with a generic font family name. So as you can see, as I already described, so it will just search the first name, then go to the second, then third, and so on. Example, here are three type of fonts. As you can see, we have already seen this example, so we can also define Tahoma and Verdana font. So this is the example of a fallback web safe font. Okay, so best web safe fonts for HTML and CSS. The following list are the best web safe fonts for HTML and CSS. So this is the list of web safe fonts for HTML and CSS. Arial, Verdana, Helvetica, Tuhama. So these all are the fonts we can use. So before you publish your website, always check how your fonts appear on different browser and devices. and always use fallback fonts. So it's recommended to use fallback fonts if one font is not load, so it will so it's a chance to load and to switch on another font. So end user won't be in a trouble to seeing the font or to read the content of the website. CSS font style. The font style property is mostly used to specify italic font. Uh, this property has three value: normal, the text is showing normally; italic, the text is showing in italics; oblique, the text is leaning; oblique is very similar to italic but less supported. So here is three type of font style. So just review an example. Like if I want to change this style of the font family, so how can I do? So just simply type font style, and then either we can use italic. So you can see the font is italic now, and if I change it to normal, so it will, you will see the font is normal, because our font is already normal, so we do not need to apply the normal. So because by default it's normal, and if I want to use this oblique, so you can see oblique. So it's almost similar to the italic, but as you can see, it's written over here is less supported. So less supported by a different browser, because different browser, because some of the browser don't support some CSS properties. So we will, we have an option to use the italic, because italic uh, load on all the font, on all the web browsers. So go to the next slide. As you can, we have already seen this example. So go to the font weight. Font weight, like normal or bold. Here are two type of font weight. So what is the use of font weight? If you want to bold the font, so we can do through the CSS font weight property. For example, if I want to this text in a normal form, for example, font weight, if I want to apply normal, so you can see now the font is not bold. And if I uncheck this, so you can see the font is back to normal, because this is the H1 tag. H1 tag by default, the font weight is bold, as you can see over here. This is predefined on H1 tag. So if I want to bold this paragraph tag, so what should I type over here? Just simply type font weight and then type to bold. So you can see now text is bold now. We can also add a font weight property in this way, like 100, 200, 300, 400, 5, 6. As you can see, 700, 8, 9, and then last is uh, a maximum property, and last is the 900 property. So we can also define in this way, or we can also define this way, like normal and bold. If you want to do 100, 200, 300, so we can also define in this way as well. Okay, so go to the font variant. The font variant property specifies whether or not a text should be displayed in a small caps font. In small cap fonts, all lowercase letters are converted to uppercase letter. However, the converted uppercase letters appear in a smaller font than the original uppercase letters in the text. So just see the use of font variant. So just type font variant. Normal and small caps. Okay, so small caps. As you can see, all the font are in a small caps. The letter is the uppercase, but font is smaller than previous. If I uncheck this, so you can see the font is in a normal position now. But if I apply this font variant property, so it will capitalize all of the characters. So we have different properties, all small caps, common ligatures, contextual, diagonal fiction. So here is the different properties we can use through the font variant. Okay, so go to the next slide. This is font size. The font size property set the size of the text. Being able to manage the text size is important in web design. However, uh, you should not use font size adjustment to make paragraph look like headings or headings look like paragraph. So it's not recommended to style paragraph look like headings or headings look like paragraph. So always use the proper HTML tags like H1 till H6 for headings and for paragraph. So we do not need to write the paragraph under the heading tag or the heading under the paragraph tag. So we should use heading under the heading tag and use the paragraph under the paragraph tag. So here is the set font size with pixel. Setting the text size with pixel give you full control over the text size. So we can set the font size like 40 pixel, 30 pixel, and 14. It's up to us and up to our requirement. For example, if I want to increase this font size, so we just simply type the property font size and then type its value like 20 pixel. We also type what is the use of pixel. Pixel is used for measurement, so we can also increase or decrease, so it depends on us. Set font size with EM. What is EM? To allow user to resize the text in the browser menu. Many developers use EM instead of pixel. 1 EM is equal to the current font size. The default text size in browser is 16 px, so the default size is 1 pm is 16 pixel. So 1 EM is 16 pixel by default. So the size can be calculated from pixel to EM using this formula. Pixel divided by 16 equals to EM. For example, if we have 14 pixel, so how we can define in a EM? So we just simply divide by the 16. But what is the use of EM? So we already seeing to allow user to resize the text. So how we can resize the text in the browser? So we just see. Sorry. So instead of defining the text, the pixel, so we just define we can define in the EM as well. 1 EM. We can also define in points as well. 1.5 EM. So this is the example. Font size we can use font size in EM 40 pixel and if you calculate 40 pixel into EM, so how we can do this? We just simply divide 40 by 16. So the answer is 2.5. Similarly, if I use the 30 pixel into EM, so just simply divide 16, then so on. In the example, the text size in EM is the same as the previous example in pixel. However, with the EM size, it is possible to adjust the text size in all browser. So unfortunately, there is still a problem with older version of Internet Explorer. The text becomes larger than it should when made larger, and smaller than it should when made smaller. So we will see what is this meaning in the example. Use a combination of percent and EM. So before going to this slide, we will just review this. Okay, so now, so what is the use of EM? So the use of EM, if we if I just increase or decrease, so by the using the EM, so it will adjust font. But if I use font size in the pixel, so it will constant, and it won't increase or decrease by zoom in or zoom out. So it's recommended to use EM. It will auto adjust the size by width of the browser. So we will review this. Use a combination of percentage and EM. The solution that works in all browser is to set a default font size in percentage for the body element. So this is the example of font size, defining font size in percentage. Font size 100%, font size in EM. We can also define font size percentage as well in EM, and also we can define font size in pixel. Our code now works great. It shows the same text size in all browser and allows all browser to zoom in and resize the text. So still we didn't see that how our text is resized. So we will just see by adding this property viewport. What is the use of viewport? The viewport property calculate the width of our browser. So simply we just add this property in our web page. So I just copy it. And where should I add this? I need to add this property over here. So just save the browser, save this file, and then back to the browser. Then refresh the page. And then type the font size like 40 pixel. Okay, I just type it like 20 pixel. So if I type this, and if I minimize this screen, so you can see content is same, and it will you can see the font size is same. Font is not the size automatically. Font is same when I'm minimizing the screen, but when I use change it to EM, so what should we change? How we can change into EM? Can anyone tell me what will the formula if I want to change it to EM 20 pixels?
Divide by 16. So divide the 20 by 16.
Divide 20. Okay, good. 20 divided by 16. So 1.25. So I just remove it and check it. So if I check this, so you can see the result is same. Okay, but and now I'm going to resizing it. Okay, if I just so I think here is some issue. That's why it's not resizing the content. Yeah. Viewport viewport is here. So we will just see in the next session. That's why it's not appearing. So it will work like it's written in this slide. So we can also use the VW. What is the use of VW means vertical width. So whenever I'm like use the 10 VW, so it's I just revise it. So if I so you can see if I minimize this browser, so you can see the font is also minimized. Why? As you can see, the font of this text and this text remain same, but this text is shorter when I minimize this screen, as you can see. Why? Because this is for defining the VW. The what it stand for VW means vertical width. So this is the example of responsive font size. So as you can see over here, it's written the text size can be set with a view unit, which means viewport width. Oh, sorry, it's not vertical width. It means viewport width, and the way the text size will follow the size of the browser window. So this is the example of a responsive font size. What is the use of responsive font size? When we use the same site on our iPad and on our mobile, or on our tablet, so how our web page will look like. So this will come under the responsiveness. So we will also uh, learn the what is the use of responsive and how we can make our website responsive. So this is a short example of the responsive font size. So we will also see how the whole sections can responsive in the different screens. Okay, so this is Google Fonts. If you do not want to use any of the standard form in HTML, you can use Google Fonts. Google Fonts are free to use and have more than 1,000 fonts to choose in from. Just add a special style sheet link in the head selection and then refer to the font in the CSS. So this is the example to use the external font. We can also use the Google font or any other font. We have option, so we are not bound to use only Google font. So for example, if we want to use a Google font, so we go to the Google font website. Just type Google font, then click on it. For example, if I want to add, we have option to use Open Sans, Robotic, any other we can use like Lato, Monstret. Okay, so I just want to add the Monstret font in our website. So we have two options. The first one is to download a family, and then second option is to use a web font through the external link. So we will use through the external link. So first we have to select the style. So this is the thickness of the style, like so we can also use this. So as you can see, the code is written over here. This is the font weight actually, as we have seen 100, 200, 300, 400. So for example, if I click on this, so it will check on this link. Oh, okay. So if I want this style as well, so we can just click on this, select this style. So it will add add here. As you can see, 100, I just add 100, 200, 300, 4, 5. So it depends on us and it depends on our requirement. So it's not necessary to use all of the font style. Okay, so I'm just copy the this style over here. So we must copy both the links. So we have two options: download our font, or also we can use through the external link. So this time we are using through the external link. So just copy the link over here, over here. And then how we can call it. So this simple rule to define the property, like in this way: font family, Monstret, sans serif. So this is the simple example. So if I want to change the heading font style, so I just replace it over here, font family, Monstret. If I want to change the, okay, so I just That's how the thing I will remain same. So I just simply save this, then go back to the browser and then see the difference. So H1, what is here is H1 tag. So I think font is not loaded over here. Okay, so if I just copy it from here, then save it. So you can see the monster form is applying over here. And if I just remove it. I think I'm getting some issue. Okay, so no problem. It will. So I'm trying to add internal through internal CSS. So what is the use of internal? How we can add this style through the internal CSS? Can anyone tell me? Are you guys listening me?
By writing the style over here.
Okay. Then okay, go back to the browser, then check if it's loading or not. No, it's not loading. Why it's not loading? Oh yeah, I just typed the class and save, then check if class is working or not. It's not loading. Okay, I will debug the issue that why it's not loading. So you can see the internal CSS is apply, as you can see. Refresh the page, and you can see the monster font is applying over here. If I want to add another font, for example, so please wait, I'm just checking. Okay, so time is over. So far we will continue in the next class. So I'm just going to end the session. So if you have any question regarding this lecture, so you may ask.
Sure.
I'm not listening what you are saying.
I'm said sure. We'll if I have any question, then I'll send it to you.
Okay, sure. So anyone, any other, if you have any question, so just tell me.
So which one is more practical, to use the EM or to use the pixel?
The more practical is EM, because EM has an option to resize the text. For example, if you are using the website in the laptop, so it will resize accordingly. And if we use the website in the mobile and in the iPad, so it will resize the text accordingly. So best option to use EM, but we have an option to use the Pixel as well.
Okay. Thank you. Jazakallah khair.
No problem. So any question? Otherwise, I'm going to end the session.
Okay, brother. Jazakallah khair.
No.
Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Welcome. So-
And thank you to all of you to join the
Thank you
session.
so much. Thank you so much.
You're
Allah
Thank
Hafiz.
you. Jazakallah.
Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.